Welcome back to Volume 2 of the DI's review of the Atari 2600 games y'all left in the comments as your favorite Atari games. So let's get started, shall we? Number 1, Wizard of War. Now here's an interesting game. It seems to be blending elements of Pac-Man and Berserk. A nice touch is it is also two-player. You can either co-op or take each other out. Some of the baddies go invisible, but there is a radar at the bottom of the screen that can help you detect their movement, helping you to avoid or hunt them. Wizard of War is the home version of the Bally Midway's arcade of the same name. As you can see here, it is a pretty faithful recreation of the arcade game. I can see why many of you love this game. Number 2, Air-Sea Battle. Now this game I am familiar with as I played it against my friend at his house many a times when I was a kid. With the many different types of games to play such as anti-aircraft, torpedo, shooting gallery, and Polaris vs. Bomber, it was always a great two-player hit. It was also nice to have other options like steerable bullets and angle shots to increase the gameplay challenge. I consider this game to be the successor to Combat, and it's just a great game all around. Number 3, Vanguard. I certainly missed the boat on this game. Blends together elements of some of my favorite games like River Raid and Robotron 2084. You start out flying through a tunnel and you start shooting all the baddies you can. There is a nice pack power pellet style pickup that makes you invincible for 10 seconds and you just crash into the enemies to take them out. Now to my surprise, this game had a continue feature once you were out of lives. I don't think that this was a typical feature of most games of that time period. Vanguard was also based off an arcade game, and it too was an incredible game as well as you can see here. While I was playing Vanguard, I got captured by this baddie called Kimless. I thought it was draining my score, but after reviewing the recorded footage, I saw it was actually giving me points for doing that. But imagine if that was a real thing in the game. That would be really harsh. Vanguard certainly is the stuff of legend, and thank you everyone for recommending it. Number 4, Phoenix. Now here is an awesome shooter with a crazy variety of enemies. It too was based off an arcade game. You have to fight your way through 4 flocks of birds before getting to the alien spaceship, which you have to take out enough of the rotating shields to get a clear shot of the pilot. You have a limited force shield that you can also use to keep your ship alive. It is a pretty good port of the arcade game to the Atari. Number 5, H.E.R.O. Now, I never played H.E.R.O on the Atari, but I did play it all the time on my Commodore 64. The Atari version is pretty faithful to the gameplay that I do remember on the C64. I love how each level adds more depth to each cave and more obstacles to overcome to rescue the miner. It's even a nice touch if you hit the light and make everything go dark. This is a very good game, and I'm glad many of you enjoyed it as well. Number 6, Frostbite. Now this little gem blew me away. Frostbite takes elements of Q*bert and Frogger and creates a fantastic game to play. I wasn't very great at it, but that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it. It seems to be one of those easy to learn and hard to master, and it makes it a fun title to play over and over again. I love that each level presents a new challenge and that it's not just the same one each time. Number 7, Crossbow. I remember attempting to play this many times at the local arcade as a kid, but I didn't know that they had made an Atari 2600 adaptation for it. This port to Atari was pretty good, as you can see here in the side-by-side of the game. Although I was much better at the arcade version of this game versus the Atari, I imagine with a bit more practice I could have honed my skills pretty good. I'm glad that several of the commenters let me know about this game as well. Number 8, Warlords. Warlords was an unfathomable game in my mind that you could play 4 players at once on the Atari. I've played a few games with my son on my Atari 2600 Jr., and he quite liked it as well. It reminded him of the Nintendo Wii Mario Party style mini-games. The fact that this is a 4-corner 4v4 game of Breakout, I could have seen myself and my friends battling out on a Saturday night back in the early 80s for sure, but I never had the chance to play this game until now. After looking into this game some more, I saw that it was also an arcade game, and it had a pretty sweet 4-player cocktail table. It's a shame I missed out battling my friends in this game. Number 9, Defender. Defender was a staple at any arcade when I was growing up, and there is no denying it is a great game to play. So porting it to the Atari was pretty much a no-brainer. It has all the game elements the arcade has, but let's face it, the arcade's version of your ship blowing up is way cooler. I can see why many of you named this in your list of favorite Atari games, as it is a pretty cool game. And last but not least, number 10, Enduro. Here's a racing game that takes pole position to the next level. This distance racer pits you not only against other racers, but you also have to battle against the time of day and the weather conditions such as fog and ice. The day to night transitions are pretty cool too. With some practice, I think I could win this race. This game would be a pretty great addition to anybody's collection. I had a blast playing and recording all of these games on my Atari 2600 Junior. And I thank you all out there for letting me know what games you enjoyed playing, and it was an honor to play them and find out for myself. Keep dropping me some lines down in the comments below on what your favorite Atari games are, and stay logged into the digital infinity. I'll be back soon with the next video of the commenters' top 10 Atari games, but until then, digital infinity out.